now introduce Catherine Walsh. So Catherine Walsh was born in Dublin in 1964, and her first book came out in 1986. Her recent poetry includes City West, published by Shearsman Books, Optic Verse, also by Shearsman, and Astonished Birds Cara, Jane, Bob, and James, Hard Press Poetry. She is founder and co-editor of Hard Press Poetry with Billy Mills and lives in Limerick. And here's just a little something I wrote about Catherine. So for the purpose of this introduction, I decided to focus on Catherine Walsh's book Optic Verve, and in particular, its first set of poems, which immediately grabbed my attention. So as the title of the book suggests, Walsh is not so much interested in action, the verbs activated by our ready-made view of things, but in the verve that lies at the genesis of vision, the nebulous and inarticulate matrix where images emerge from. This explains why the poems that open the book occupy a space that's rarefied and inhospitable, reminiscent of Stein's stanzas in meditation, in its near unreadability and its constellations of pronouns, prepositions, and conjunctions, which point nowhere and everywhere all at once. Walsh provides us, in other words, with a tissue of connective particles that we, the readers, can use to forge and fabricate our own vistas. For Walsh, the world does not pre-exist the viewer. Vision is a creative and therefore a poetic endeavor. We make the world in our own image, see what we look for, and reap the products of our own optic and verbal labor. Welcome, Catherine Walsh.
Hi, folks. It's lovely to be here. So I'm just going to start off by reading a piece from this book called Ideratra. This book also includes Making Tense, which was a previous small book I did from Hard Pressed, which then Invisible Books kindly put in the second part of this. I can't really see you when I put on these glasses, so forgive me. Singing, love, they won't let me in. The named face meaning, ringing all over sky, blue, loping, head in it. Generosity, mind out. Perspicacy, I can never say this word, can somebody say it? Perspicacity, you can use words you can't say. Play fledglings roll, flea faces, facts. Behaviour in extremis, vast, country deep, harsh, clacking. Grief, the great destroyer, have at ye, hard at ye, heave, or so soon, been there, so gone, have you. Slowly, and more, repeat the supposed silence. Do they only reach out to kill each other? Then, always lost is a glad refrain. Person with a large disrespect for coats. Huge hollow frontier. Loud clanking, trundling, scraping shovel, concrete. The grey leaf, the green leaf, the grey-green leaf, the greeny leaf, the grey leaf, grainy leaf, grainy, grey, green leaf of a tree, off a tree, of a tree, off on a pavement, off of a tree, on a pavement. Grainy, grey, green leaf off of a tree, off of, on a grey, grainy pavement, green leaf, grain, dirty, rain, trails, twee, twee, if I had a little bird, conditional. Dependency clause, not on. Where is it? Well, where is it? Scraping of shovel on concrete. Short, rapid brush strokes, hard bristle, concrete. grainy, grainy green, grey green, just green. A just green leaf on a just green green. Declamatory. Okay then. A green leaf on a grainy grey pavement. Pavement's wrong. What's it? Footpath. A grainy grey footpath. Clattering of spade. Brush on wooden cart. Humphing. Heavy breathing. Trundling cart. Sound of wheels. Quietly. What is the sound of wheels on a grey footpath? What is the sound of a grainy green leaf on a grainy? No, not grainy then. Start again. Here we are. That's where it is. Singingly, hummingly. What is the sound wheels make on a grey footpath? What is the sound of a green leaf on a grey footpath? What is grainy? Brushing, scraping. And that does kind of end. Have you ever seen snow? And of course, when the snow gets deep, some places, say, high up on the hills. Have you ever played games in snow? Lying deep to leave a shape. Throwing snowballs, rolling snowfolk. It's cold. There are lots of stories about snow. A Russian one, the wish divine, working hard at it, hard at it. She's not a real girl, but she's ours. The opposing currents, the wish divine. Or, as rambling the frozen locks, we went on tea trays, scraping by the lucky bread crate owners every step beyond your roads, barrage of snowballs in the neck, running, ducking, running after them, the nearest unmushed heap still white on top, away from feet, tires, paws, or digging out paths, pavements. Sand here, salt there, a grocery shop list, hasty system distributing scarce provisions. It got you moving. Sequence of change, necessity. Are you leaning to one side now? Use the opposite arm to the leg that's bending, sweeping it right up across the sky. Have you ever seen snowflakes falling, spun out, pain still winging on? Belief. That writes, time passes never to return to us, and sorrow is then of no avail. So, I'm just going to read something very old for a minute from Pitch. Foreign tones cracked the new country under unaccustomed heat, settled endless jokes, one's exotic, evidently misplaced birds. She'd be very surprised to know, to think it what they wanted. Why? Someone quietly getting on, centred with what, but separate. 700 years don't change this, having forfeited unnecessarily the effort to maintain one more thing that could not be regained. Losing to disprove the scientists, the wind is getting up, all will soon worsen, dancing that thin skin, shoreline recedes, losing prove worth. Her name, mud, instance an adherent quality, found between ridges, under rocks, depressions, worm, rose tern, eaten by just who? Blame the way, out-arced, mythified in the long line of throes and chaos to decenter, can involve denial of experience. And this is a fact. Legend-loaded bits demand the act deny self. This is irritatingly dense. But old Mrs. Rudd, in her one-room flat on James's Street, going home later, actually her real name was Mrs. Woods, I can now say with her family's permission, she's long dead. Going home later, squeamish, not able to eat till the smell. Warm sliced cheese, run through the wild grounds, workhouse, St. Kevin's, James's, crush leaves, blind grey hair, thickly drawn to bunnet nape. She ate sliced processed staples, the usual, butter, tea, milk to be collected, one budgie, one cat out back through the landing window, first floor flat, cold tap. Across the road, a small commercial dive, ground floor block of corpo flats, one toilet, a euphemism under the large iron bed with sprung base, feather mattress, white hair, black clothes, white lace, to do a step of a dance for her. Switch on the wireless, late 60s tranny, suitable afternoon programme, diddly eye, she claps, feet tap. Head lilt side to side, the apron pocket by a bare tea on somewhere like Frawley's oilcloth. Helping her clean, tidy, empty one receptacle, fill another, her black shawl and nephew's car. Once in a blue moon, the country was just Tala. Now she couldn't see. Read the paper for me, Katie. What's happening in the world at all? These politicians, they're all full of themselves. Mount Brown Hill, tiny houses, the steps, Guinnesses, combinations, ways down by the Naller, the Basin, the Iron Bridge. I wouldn't be writing this the same way if I lived there. I wouldn't be living this the same way if I wrote there. I'd probably still be hungry 3 days a week, with running water walls, working the black market all weathers to supplement the dole, a paraffin stove cough, liverish. And now I'm just going to read some of what you were referring to in your very kind introduction. And this is from Optic Verve. I'll read them. They'll come out whatever way they come out. They'll come out the way they come out today. Bird better hurry, yet meant, should change in stare, whatever pursue, while repose is ever just time, separate effect, present each way of this never need, or fulfill not only decision, it's blinded for chance perfectly, allowance once mind. That gather no pleasure as all as can be left, for it will stop because time, now is when, can always alert in past, just sense, make it now, like what there is enough mind, care, much will, once, nearly, often, there. It is not answer and custom, or whether just as all then must, difference, not that only for this morning comfort. Assurance, well, wear it any time, just more, and when better, not on all longer, or in it a gone. Juntos por la noche. Ask will, or must stay, mind none, may, lost it at most. Mean by likeness ways, miss for more, nearly, what time, which, what can establish for more seeds, all can be, for which only need must be always on. Think, it is clear, for outwardly to regular, useless, call change in can think, or ever, yet, well, evening of toll, not less, or only cloak with very, two who could and learned most, after all, will, wish, must, some, just once. Con vos que ellos conocen llamándole. Aid, or like best. Happened then, only add to half time. One quietly might. Way let it can try, changed to progress. If happens, all not waiting now land, hardly thought of as well. Means nothing. Say that cry back meant all which lightly met, of which nobody so close and in chance. Quang hondo, quang sin fin. Ask more, with not which measure by name as by more person. Do neither best by no ours, theirs, no other than exchange, cause in finally alighting at best behalf. Think, well, express neither, it is by do not see, for which hope neatly is delight, not shun, can out. Nunca más, no volver nunca más. Aquí estoy, best why, which can call given away, so undo better, for which remember thin, with lightly of which in all, only where day call and forget change, it, as last, could, all that get many asked, no one might be, just can, should be, should, what in all out of neither, with a glad either, welcome to known day, all can who will, or see without no wonder. Place. Curious. Our hold of be for change, in it was thought, then, although when shortly could this which it is, let use know better, and be this then lost by time, sing of which rather could, as no one able thought without at it happens, or as time pages no hours finishing, prepared, ordinary, or mostly better, why our ought known want be given as much, not could, to everything of. Surcease of contact, the surcease of contact, it. To mature in his imagination, to mature in his imagination. World of want and world of plenty, she was consequently free to live, naturally, un desconocido. Is it revelatory form, small sketch, incarnation, the range contributing, or textured white with chilies, the common object? Metaphysics, an outdated anomaly, captivating an unwieldy accusation. Ah, when meant something by the time he was being exuberant, memories drifting enthrallingly after the war, a finished machinery, frozen ideas, packets troubled by a beautiful melancholy in conversation. Comedy is a play, showing the moment to bite upon. Comes one of the first, shambolic forgiveness to provide, considerably in vogue, expect a story pervade. Time, I've lost track. I'm okay. They ask me what I remember. I feel my feet stick in flat-strapped Clark sandals, rising bubbles of tarmac along the road too. Hear the crack as I pull my foot off, breaking the shiny skin. Smell heat on the road, small rectangular bales of hay drying other side of the ditch, where we find over the course of summer wild strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, small sweet fruit entangled in briars, suckers, small birds flash, flutter along their line, cross the road, flying low in front to land in the ditch. Acres of flax, sugar beet, corn, barley, oats, wheat, fields of potatoes, sheep grazing, cows mooching over the land, the quiet, persisting river. Okay. I just, I'm good at that. I'd just like to read a little bit from something called The Beautiful Altogether, and this is just a bit that was in Igris in the TCD magazine, because I have rather gloriously completely mislaid the manuscript. But that's fine, it'll turn up. And it's on the archive anyway. So this is published by Smithereens, and you'll find it on the Internet Archive if their page is still not up. The Beautiful Altogether. There is a yellow notebook. If I could keep this simple, there might be a process which could figure a task sorted out from those items in a spatially exempt refraction of implication. Whether these individuals condition an association may be that spiral set in its positive linear control for efficacy removed a wonderful sense of attention common among colour orientation. These details as neuropsychological rotations spanning any diagnosis, your ill city, defined, vouched the expense of accuracy. What observed information develops as consensus, eyed forwards frames of investigation. What underlies one question may be attempted in varying how to adjust flourishing as honesty, compelling explorations, meaning a dream which is singular, spirited, replete, abstracts answers beyond ready ethics. Tell me, a friend, a lover, can be so vivid you compel those resolute pictures, motion with no looking back. Can A de-theologize feeling? His readers keep seeing themselves over anew in vividly compelling. Write me a song. These questions of truce or trust. This is not how you deal with bullies. Girls, you are rapid. Reconcile yourself to making the most of place awareness. What pragmaticism, get carried, splintered to sparkings. Or aspects of themselves prefer not to dance, to go out and play. Hey, you can collapse a sentence. Phrases beat residually to points of advance, no such meanings imagined. Is intent requisite to a mechanical skill? Instead, there are happenings, merging these existences to responsive patternings, unable to say or see this way forward, angles bouncing ineptly, reading the iconic smell of smoke meanders as neatly mapping dispersion. Anyone can see, derived from style. Any one memory banks on changes through history, hitting the reflected spot, progressing tensilely in as unmeasured an enervation or exacerbation of what stymied or stunned coalescence. Experience beyond my lips is slipped in later. There is a lovely component of identification, distinct as those complex abilities removed from all impression to subtyping in one altered perspective. Lose your bearings. I can hear, I can sense, I can hear a sequence of sensations in an instant, linking experience. These accidents struck through non-chronology. Keep going. Disillusionment may be inherited responsibly. It was a day, a thing called may be. Faded restorations to enchantment, memorabilia. A whisper completely wipes you out of your obligation. Or does it become imagination in a ritual setting apart? And just, I think, to finish off, very happy to be in this special edition of the Chicago, and it's a really nice edition. There's lots of good stuff in there. And somewhere I have some things more. From this one is from something called Barbaric Tales, which I have to take. Really can't look through these. Unfortunately, nobody wanted to publish the workshop edition, but I circulated essentially a kind of workshop prototype of it first for quite a long time, and had various small numbers of people reading it and doing things with it, and it was quite fun. It was quite interesting, and I will hop out the actual thing fairly soon. From Barbaric Tales. Moidered by that inherent bitchiness, tacky with self-estimation, we struggled on with reading the sentences, the senselessness. It ought to be self-evident even to the author that the particular senselessness of those sentences resolves itself on severances, a sensory syncopation masquerading as sensation, meaning the act or experience of any sense, any sensing. Oh, knowing this, what took to be self-evident as self-proclaimed in the Hucksterville clapperboard, a denied verisimilitude forced to point itself out as clever, leaving lights as leaving lets. It was mordant, a file of relentless inexactitudes requiring water cannon, a day out. We watched her candy floss stick pink and slightly sparkly to her nose, her hair, her arms. It seemed everywhere on such a gusty day. The crab had one leg missing, but it was not gone. I picked it up a little further over. Out to sea, a vagary of petrol steam streaking a prismatic undulating sadly, far from the wet, crisp pop of the stretched blue-pink-green bubbles. You know, people like you know too many spooks. Is that an overstatement? It certainly ought to fit in a category of things perhaps best left unsaid until, but there is rarely or almost never that moment, so wham! Here goes, again, levity moves along, legless as bereft of serenity. She said, the lion has a tail, they all have tails but her. Carl Ruccosi, I have the uneasy feeling that we have been conned by ingenious stylists. Why do I keep writing words I find difficult to say? Specificity, See, I can't do it. In this case, I have an excuse because it's a quote from Karen. Pulls the most profound-looking ideas down to earth. Old ideas are as hard as garbage to dispose of once and for all. We use so little of our imagination that when we create the unexpected, it looks as if we have transcended even ourselves. So those last four are Carl Cozy. That the proximate be ever further is a given of our experiential understandings, and with this limitless ease, yet showing definition of defining characteristics, such that we have in common a shared or understood notion of this iterative proximate, its nodding acquaintance with any future's jagged punctillistic line dance, in unison, more or less, yet not uniform, in collusion, yet not wholly or always collusive, we step out, each one's every step a keep, a repeat, amplified, that sonorous beat patterns our world, rhythmic values shake, imprint, replicate, echolalia of the recursive gene, the precursive scene enacting as a performative value to which acting becomes its own procedure-led device. Pejoratives of implementation hasting to the fore, the spotlight, the mirrored, percussively dressing room, a performative value which percussively disentangles any mores as the programmatics antic less wisely, less usefully, less functionally, a little further along the career-led each day. Codology mounts when actually all I need is dinner, shelter, calm from storms, lit beauty delicate, tenderloin, all our minds, true-ish. Thank you very much.